have the meat.
Why you bullying me?
Yahoo!
All week long.
All rise, order in the court. We're in Flow Ride, I believe.
I believe you're correct. It looks like it. It smells like it. Has to be Florida.
Like you and I were just sitting here, just looking at this fine piece of ass there in the doorway.
Yeah, he's giving us every possible seductive pose right off the bat.
He really is. Yeah, he is what I think they refer to as a bear, I believe.
Yeah. A big old piece of bear candy.
That's what my wife called me one time while we were eating breakfast in Pigeon Forge.
She knows how to sweet talk you.
Doesn't she? All right. If you're new here, we got a case. We jump around different Zoom court, live proceedings. Try to keep it live anyways, for the most part. Never know what we're going to find. Mike, I saw 2 people are waiting already for a 6 o'clock release of a great video. By the way.
Well, look at there and make sure you're there at 6 o'clock. Especially if you missed court yesterday. If you had an FTA, you need to check out our good friends Larry and Vince taking it to the mat. And the question will be answered, Creed. Why is there a dead body in the hall?
Why did he have to step over him? Bud, yeah, I think he's trying to turn us all on and want us to, go to jail so we can see him.
I mean, he is hot.
Let's go, baby.
Let's jump in. Polycom, Real Presence, Collaboration Server 1800.
That's the best one.
Yeah, I agree.
Way better than that 1700.
All right, guys, we're here for sentencing. Anything the state or defense want to present to the court? I know this is sentencing round 3.
Nothing in the way of further evidence, Your Honor. Just
Argument?
Round 3.
Sure, go ahead.
So I would say first that, it's not lost on me that generally a real burglar of a dwelling where somebody...
No, what, did you forget to click Facebook? It's not up there.
Prison case, even for first time offender.
It kicked it out a while ago.
And I'm not asking for a
Whoops.
case here.
Maybe it kicked it out again.
I'm just asking for Mr. Hatton to not literally go to prison. So at this
Some
point in
bitch.
this case, he does have
Coming in hot. Facebook, get ready.
CF 101 case.
Facebook is up, shirtless dad. You can go over now.
Slight downward departure and give him 17 months credit for 17 months served. For what it's worth, he has been continuously in custody at this point for nearly 25 months. In excess of what he scores just based on the case that's before the court. So in any case, the punitive sanction that he's to receive here, even if the court were to grant exactly what I'm asking for in terms of a prison sentence that amounts to time served, I would submit as appropriate in light of the numerous grounds for downward departure that were supported with evidence previously put before the court at the prior sentencing hearings, namely in the form of Dr. Sporl's test, which I would submit D of 921-0026 subsection 2, that Mr. Hatton does indeed suffer from a mental health condition that requires specialized treatment. He is
Stevie-itis.
Of course, the other 2 grounds for departure that were supported by evidence were the need for restitution and the fact that he did cooperate.
We're down here in this little box, by the way, with the guy in the orange, just so you know.
By providing information to the detective.
Not the sexy guy in the blue shirt.
Has been previously acknowledged by Mr. Neo, who's the prior prosecutor on this case. As it relates to the restitution, Mr. Hatton himself has always understood that even though he was found not guilty of taking the firearms in this case, that he is equally culpable to the people who did. The only reason that he didn't actually get to steal anything from the safe was because it had already been stolen.
A safe.
So he's never had any issue, and now his family has no issue fully understanding that restitution is an enumerated basis for downward departure, which focuses on the victim's need, and it's perfectly appropriate for both Mr. Gill and the court to consider that. So My suggestion for sentencing, Your Honor, is the 17 months, but then the probation is really what I would suggest is the most important part. Because whether the court is looking at this case as one that needs, a sentence that needs to protect the community from further crimes, or whether it's just to rehabilitate Mr. Hatton, both of those interests are best served, I would submit, by treating the underlying cause of conduct, not just sending him down the road to prison where he would undoubtedly suffer further trauma based on the constant violence and the need for hypervigilance that is, pretty characteristic of anybody that has to be in a prison setting. The dual diagnosis residential facility that the court heard about from members of the community at the first sentencing hearing, Chrome, has had a brief delay, but does expect to open in October, I understand. And they have the ability to basically custom tailor the residential component of his sentence to whatever the court wants. I would suggest that a term of at least 6 months there would be appropriate, not because there's an ongoing chemical dependency on anything at this point. Obviously, Mr. Hatton's been in custody and is physically clean, but the psychological addiction,
25 months, I would hope so.
trying to mitigate stressors and triggers by resorting to self-medication always remains until it's effectively dealt with. So that would be the first part of the probation that I would suggest. Once he transitions from that facility,
Oh, nice. You pissed him off. He walked away.
He ran off.
He's gone.
continue to see a psychologist
Oops.
at least twice a month for trauma counseling.
Oh, there he is. He's just in the
You should see a
hallway.
trauma-focused psychiatrist
He's lurking.
to take all his medications as prescribed. He should further continue to participate in group substance abuse relapse prevention counseling at least once a week for the duration of the supervision and be subject to random drug tests to ensure his compliance with those conditions. In wrapping up, there was just a couple other points I wanted to direct the court's attention to. One of which is, frankly, and this has literally nothing to do with Mr. Gill. Mr. Gill is a really good prosecutor, a good guy, has genuine interest in doing the right thing. So this has nothing to do with him.
Pillar of the community.
But it does have to do with his boss. And I've been practicing a long time and handled tens of thousands of cases across the Panhandle in state and federal court. And I've never had
10,000?
any prosecutor revoke an accepted offer without good cause. Pick up a new offense or find out there's some aggravating circumstance. After doing the mitigation work initially here, Mr. Neon and I had worked out a global resolution where there was going to be stipulated credit of 18 months.
And for the record, for clarity of your record, I think it's Mr. Cowan that
Sorry.
may sound,
Yes, ma'am.
anyway, it's Mr. Cowan, right?
Cowan.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Wow, this
We'd worked
this
out
attorney's coming in hot on the DA.
in prison, which was going to be basically time served or close to
Yeah, I
it,
like that.
followed by 7 years of probation with some various treatment conditions. And he was set to flee on a day that court got canceled by a tropical storm. And Mr. Bassford himself stepped in and instructed Mr. Cowan to revoke that offer. The truth is, beyond the fact that I would submit that would be unjust anyway, to revoke an accepted offer with
So
no,
they gave him an offer, they accepted it, and then they took it back.
obviously, a prosecutor can legally revoke an offer at any time for any reason. That doesn't mean they should, and that's why no one's ever done that all the time that I've been practicing. It's
The lie
more
detector test
aggravated, I would
determined
submit, in this case too.
That
because
was a lie.
there's a family. Mr. Hatton's family got a civil judgment
Broke.
some years ago, which they never paid. And the petitioner or plaintiff in that case was a family member of Mr. Bassford. I obviously don't know for sure if that had anything to do with his decision here. But part of the reason I don't know is because rather than responding to any of the numerous emails or calls I placed to his office, frankly, he just kind of hid under his desk on this. And
Oh, coward.
no explanation for why the elected state attorney would step in on a random burglary case in an outlying county. I'm left to consider that that is the only reason, and that's an improper reason.
Ooh, he the
I
state
think that it's
attorney.
the court's decision that Mr. Hatton accepted responsibility and was willing to take that deal, a year ago and would have, but for Mr. Bassford stepping in and blowing that up.
10,000 cases loud.
Based on the
It's on his
established
billboard.
grounds for downward departure that were supported with evidence before the court, and the reasons that I've given here today, I would ask the court to impose.
He's
7
only lost 9,000 cases.
3 months of probation with treatment conditions outlined.
Okay. State,
Yes, Your Honor. I took over this case from Mr. Cowan and I looked at it and, I don't know what discussions have gone on, but there was good faith basis to go forward to trial. I think we're right at the trial marker anyways, and that's what the state did. That was my decision to go forward on that. While there were discussions with Mr. Bassford, it was my choice. He gave me some guidance, but it was my choice to take the trial. As far as the departure, we'd asked the court to not depart from the score sheet in this case. And that the framework for that is found in State v. Chubbuck. It's a pretty straightforward case. Boils down to 1, can the court depart? And then 2, should the court depart? And any departure is reviewed on an abuse of discretion. That the defense has not met their burden to.
Should be interesting to see what way the
really
judge goes with the sentencing.
By quantum of the evidence to depart. in this
Because
case.
so far he's just coming back and just quoting
Um,
cases.
Yeah,
Rather.
he's coming back with, look,
That's nothing to.
let's do this by the book.
Coral's, intelligence or her expertise, but really we have the evaluation that the defense relies on, and that's a 2-year-old evaluation that this court was looking at from Dr. Sporle. At that point, it was stale, and Dr. Sporle said, of all these 5 diagnostic impressions, I think the 2 were the even qualifying impressions. She sat on the stand and said that there's only 1 that I can say for certain that he would ever treatment for. So the court or the state would ask that you do not depart based on its 1, stale. And, at the time, Mr. Hatton was on drug offender probation out of Gadsden County, and I asked the court to take judicial notice of that.
Uh-oh.
The other concern the state has is that the very next day, Dr. Sporle's evaluation was March 11th of 2020.
2 days before my birthday.
Mr. Hatton
Happy
was
birthday.
test on probation, on the drug offender probation in the Gadsden County case, and he tests positive for methamphetamine. So that means that he either immediately after his evaluation, maybe he day before his evaluation was using methamphetamine.
So far, I like the lawyer
So
more.
again, the state
the moment.
admits that they have not met their burden based on those.
Yanking that plea deal, though. Oof. What a kick in the
order
nuts that
unrelated
is.
to Abuse or addiction.
He hasn't
The thing I
really
would remind the court is that
said
Mr.
anything
Hatton
about
took
that
the
yet.
stand in this case. And Mr. Hatton got on the stand, told the jury, wore a hat, said, I burglarized Mr. Patrick's house because I wanted drugs and money. And I would have done anything for drugs and money. I was high at that time. And now he comes in here and he wants to put on a different hat. And that hat is, please depart based on a condition unrelated to substance abuse. But his
Just did
words
2
on the
years,
stand
right?
allowed that
Yeah.
this case specifically was related to substance abuse.
Waiting for this.
2 years and a month.
Based on that, the bottom line is that the state is asking that this court not depart from the score sheet, and the state is recommending a term in the Department of Corrections not less than 5 years.
Did they?
So just in way of brief rebuttal, the bottom line is that Dr. Sporle indicated that some of the diagnosis could not go stale if they were based on post-traumatic stress disorder relating to objectively validated traumatic instances. And that's not something that goes away without treatment. The diagnoses that she rendered are clinically cognizable mental health disorders that are on the axis and have coding for diagnosis and all that in accordance with clinical directives and standards. So I don't think there's any dispute, given that there's no competing evidence in the record, that the defense, or that there can't be a dispute, rather, that the defense has established that there is a basis for downward departure because of the underlying mental health condition and the need for treatment. As Dr. Sporle testified to, that the only question is whether the court will exercise its discretion to give a downward departure. I would further mention that the undisputed evidence record at this point is also that there's a need for restitution. Mr. Patrick testified, my understanding is reported the last hearing, that he prefers restitution to incarceration. And
You wanted 2 things, Creed.
restitution is if Mr. Hatton
Money
doesn't
and
go to
drugs.
prison.
He's got them both. He's happy as hell.
He ain't going to give it to Mr. Patrick if her baby goes to prison. So I know that's kind of a weird way to raise the argument, but that's just the reality of the circumstances. The victim wants restitution, and I would point out that he was okay.
I like that play that he wants restitution more than anything else. The
Mhm.
victim.
He had consulted.
You can't get it if the guy goes to jail.
So ultimately, his position that he wants restitution is consistent with the position he's held the entire time, and that is a valid basis for downward departure as well. As a practical matter, though, I would point out that everything the court has heard about and seen.
Did they
related
yank
to
it
the pattern of
because he
conduct,
tested positive for meth?
engaged in is perfectly consistent with what you would expect based on what Dr. Sporl testified to. This is the way
I don't. I think that was at the time of arrest and everything, but
substances
I don't think it was after the deal had been made. I think the guy just pulled it to pull it
on their drug habit. That's exactly what happened here. Of
because
course,
the guy was already on a drug offense
he didn't get
Right.
treatment.
that he was
Drug
out
administration
on
use
bail for.
Doesn't also address the cause of the conduct. The substance abuse, I often draw the analogy, is merely a symptom of the actual condition, and merely treating that symptom is the same, in the case of a gunshot wound, of stitching closed entrance wound while leaving the bullet inside to cause damage and cause infection. That's what we have here. Putting somebody on drug offender probation, although obviously he's responsible for his own choices, and I'm not saying he's justified or excused, it's explainable and to be expected if the underlying cause of the conduct's never addressed and he hasn't had the opportunity through treatment to address the underlying cause of the conduct. We shouldn't expect that conduct realistically to change. This is why I have repeat clients.
I know, but the state
If
didn't
they,
really
get the treatment they need the
say
first time,
why.
then they're gonna be
Yeah,
down.
they really gave no
Or, both for Mr. Hatton's
concrete reason why.
to address the underlying cause of his conduct by granting a downward departure and sending him to receive the treatment that he needs so that he can become again the type of productive citizen he was prior to these traumatic events.
Well, I don't know about that. It seemed like he was too much of a
spinning out of control.
pillar of the community before.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Interesting.
For all of the
Former
points of
district
view
attorney.
that have been presented to this court prior to today. Mr. Hatton, we are here in case number. Give me 1 second.
Go ahead.
101.
God bless.
Yeah, 21 CF
Remember we were talking about that stitched up wound
101
with the bullet
on
still in it getting
count
infected.
1.
Yes.
A jury found you to be guilty of burglary of a dwelling, a lesser included charge, okay? Mr. Hatton, the court, in making its sentence determination, considers the facts of the case that I heard at this trial, which were significant to this court. I'm considering your criminal history.
Oh, we're going over.
You're on drug offender probation when this is alleged to have occurred. I am also considering the statements of our victim, where he has indicated that restitution would be important to him. However, he has also indicated that he does not sleep well at night and does not feel comfortable in his own home because you burglarized his home. Okay? I've considered your mitigation testimony. And while arguably there may be a basis for mitigating on the fact that there is this dual diagnosis, not caused by substance abuse, the court does not find that testimony to be so credible that it is willing to depart on the basis of it not being a bit because of substance abuse. Okay. The court has also considered the fact that the victim has asked for restitution. And I want to point out there, guys, so that we don't have any issues with regard to an appeal. Last court date, the court was very concerned that out of this courtroom, and my JA heard, someone in your family referred to the fact that they felt that this was legal extortion, the fact that we were
Got a beautiful
considering
face.
restitution. I would like there to be a clear record that on numerous occasions, defense counsel asked the court and said, would you consider restitution and the effect on your sentence, even though he is not guilty of stealing those guns, okay? And the court said, yes, of course, I have an elderly gentleman and I will consider it. only reason it was ever considered was at the request of the defendant, okay?
Yes.
That said, Mr. Hatton, even if your family had never said what they said after the last court date, okay? I find that the concerns of protecting this community, including our victim, are outweighed by the amount of money and restitution that can be provided to this victim, and the court is unwilling to exercise its discretion to mitigate based on restitution as well.
Family must have money.
The court is unwilling to mitigate your sentence. The court heard testimony from our victim regarding some firearms that were stolen, that were antiques and whatnot. The court has not considered that in any way, because I cannot consider it in any way. You were not convicted of stealing those firearms. But I do remember his testimony that he is an elderly man, lived alone, and his home was burglarized. And now he feels unsafe in the home that he's lived in for quite some time. That, coupled with the fact that you were on supervision when this occurred, I don't know anything about the family history involving Mr. Bassford and the Hattons, nor does that affect in any way this court's decision. In fact, the court can exercise discretion at many stages and disagree with the state and with the defense. And Mr. Gill, I disagree with your recommendation. Mr. Hatton, I sentenced you
Okay.
to 12 years in the State Department of Corrections with credit for all credit that you've been given thus far.
Whoa.
Guilty of the underlying offenses. What is his credit? I give you credit for 560 days that you have already served towards this sentence. I order you to pay court costs, fines, and fees. Madam Clerk, only the mandatories. I'm going to waive court costs, fines, and fees. I don't want that to become an appellate issue. Does the state have any objection? The court will waive court costs, fines, and fees. And
Wow.
restitution, there's no firearms in this case. No restitution shall be due. Sir, I am required to tell you that if you wish to appeal this court's judgment and sentence, you have 30 days within which to do so.
I didn't see that
If you
coming.
cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you for that purpose. Mr. Hatton, I'm going to need your fingerprints. Mr. Prince,
Wow.
anything further at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Gill,
Am I mistaken? They asked for like
would you like?
5 or 7 years, something
Yeah.
like that. And
Yeah.
she said, I'm denying that.
Oh, yeah.
And coming
Uh,
in hard with 12 years.
So we got to remember with this dude that he did something bad previously because when he caught this charge, he was already out on that. Didn't steal the firearms, wasn't convicted of that, but still, it was burglary.
He was basically burglarized the home with, I guess, a couple of other people who did steal
Yeah.
PPUs from the elderly gentleman. He was there for the monies. Wow, that sends a hell of a message. I'm telling you.
Forgot it's Tuco Tuesday, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
Yeah, man, Jesus. Yeah, I didn't see that coming. The lawyer, I gotta give the lawyer credit. I think that so now we know why the state was the way that he was. He already knew which way this was going, I'm sure, had a pretty good idea. Plus, as it seems, that she is the one that saw that case, it seems, too. 'cause
yeah. She remembered very well about the old man and the whole family.
Yeah.
By the way, I've already had 2 soft tacos today. We're off to a good start on Taco Tuesday.
Oh, and bye, Miss Fink.
Yeah, I was just over here and Judge George was live, but as soon as I clicked it, Judge George was gone. I was like, son of a gun.
Damn. If you want to look at Knox, I think they go live at 1:25, just in case we don't have a very long.
Yeah, they were live early this morning too, like at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming. Wow, I gotta give that lawyer credit though. I was kind of believing a bit of his stuff.
Again, maybe that's why they yanked that deal too. You know.
Yeah, now it makes a little bit more sense. I see. Don't forget, coming up 2 for Tuesday on We Gotta Chase. Talk it all over Judge Stansbury because he's just giving out instructions. We all know to deal with that.
We know the deal.
We know the deal. But if Knox is already live, actually, I think it was scheduled for 1:25, 12:25 their time. I was going to say, if we want to bounce around a little bit, if licking ain't quite bringing it, as they say.
Can't remember that. Do a search engine look. And then you can always call the clerk's office. You can stop into the clerk's office. There's no, in my opinion, legitimate.
This is stream number 3.
Didn't know when your court date was. All right. Now, if on the day of your trial, because that'll be what your next court date's going to be, you decide you want to change your plea to guilty or no contest, you can do that. You're not going to get a harsher sentence because you pled not guilty today. If you intend to go to trial and to represent yourself, make
Are
sure
we only doing people in the courtroom right now?
that day, including
That's-
any witnesses that you want the court to hear from.
Almost what it looks like.
Testifies to what somebody else said. It's
Or maybe he's getting ready. Then maybe this is a trial.
Trial?
Furthermore,
Let's
if you don't
let's
think you're
stick with it for a second, see what's going on.
early,
Yeah, let's see.
Then you can ask the court to issue a subpoena, which if they're personally
I bet
served,
that's what it
requires
is.
them to appear, and if they fail to do so, at the very least, you'll get a continuance. But you can, more importantly, ask the court to punish that person for blowing off the subpoena. Now, if you have evidence in the form of pictures or video that you've taken with your
Oh, yeah,
phone,
this
you
is
want the court to
definitely,
consider with bring that with you to that day, but bring it with you in the following form: print out hard copies of pictures, download video to a flash drive. If you don't, and you want them admitted into
It'll be
evidence,
50
you have to put your
years.
phone into evidence because that's what
These
they-
are also, I mean, he does
obligated
give
to
these
put 50 years.
instructions.
I will run out of places to put people's phones if you don't do that. Now, if you plead guilty, although nobody's required to, nobody can be forced to plead guilty. As you sit here, you're all presumed to be innocent of whatever it is you're charged with. But if you plead guilty,
I
you're
don't know.
going to give up your right to a trial. You're giving up your presumption of innocence, meaning the state doesn't have to prove anything for me to find you guilty. And I'll simply enter a conviction and impose sentence upon you today, and it'll be over. If that's what you want to do, that's fine.
Okay, yeah. So they're doing please.
But make sure 100% that's what you want to do. Because if you later change your mind and say, well, no, now I
So
want to
are we
fight that,
just
it's very
doing?
difficult to go back
I
to
am
the
so
sentence.
confused.
Not impossible, but pretty close. Last thing I want to talk to you guys about is lawyers. Every single one of you has the right to go out and hire an attorney of your choosing, regardless of what you're charged with, whether it's a minor.
Yeah, he's talking to more than one person.
Yeah, he's got a
If you're
courtroom
facing
full.
possible jail time based on what you're charged with, so if an M1,
Well,
M2,
let's hope so.
M4, or certain unclassified misdemeanors, you are eligible to ask the court to give you an attorney for free. It's called court-appointed counsel. You have the application form. It was in the paperwork you got. When
Yeah, you
did it.
indigent POS.
If you would like to get a lawyer in either of those ways, you need to plead not guilty today. And if you're going to be hiring an attorney, start making those arrangements to retain and hire an attorney immediately without any delay. Typically, I will say as soon as you get home. If you're going to,
I know there's a lawyer in Florida that's
make sure
looking
you
for a
fill
new
out your
case.
application today.
Yeah, he's got some free
They
time.
went to the clerk, and that's where you're going next. So it's very convenient. If you're going to be applying for court-appointed counsel, don't leave this floor of this building without turning that in first. Now, if you're eligible to ask the court to give you an attorney for free, but you want to hire your own, I would strongly recommend that you submit your application anyway, because if you qualify, then you're going to have a lawyer no matter what, without any further delays. And if you are able to hire your own counsel because you have the means to do so, good for you. That lawyer comes in and
Good for you.
The likely scenario that you don't have
Ooh.
the means, and I'm not singling you guys out because you're defendants. Let's face it, who's got $2,500 just sitting around waiting to be handed over to some lawyer? You don't want to show up on the day of your trial and tell me
Not
that
me.
you tried to hire your own lawyer, but you couldn't afford it. So can you get a continuance that day to apply for court appointed? Because if your case is assigned to me, I will remind you of this little chat.
You think Judge Stansbury doesn't have $2,500 sitting in the bank right now?
You want to get a lawyer? Get
Oh,
one.
you know
If
he
you don't want to get
does.
a lawyer, you don't have to get one. But we're not going to play games and wait around and inconvenience the court.
He's got a
and
lake
inconvenience
house.
Everybody else by just postponing things until the day of trial. One thing I will tell you is this is the absolute worst setting to be an ostrich. By that I mean you can't just stick your head in the sand and hope everything's going to turn out right. Whatever it is you're here for, whether it's spitting on the
I like
sidewalk or
that.
punching somebody in the face, it's a big deal in your life because you're sitting here in a courtroom. against
Ho,
the
fire
court.
captain.
The captain
You wanna get
is
stuff
here.
unpleasant over with pretty quickly, but there's also an instinct, a human instinct, to try to avoid unpleasant consequences for as long as possible. The fact of the matter is, you guys deserve to have your cases
that.
heard in a timely fashion, and the Supreme Court requires me to. So, the sooner you deal with this, the sooner it's going to be behind you. So, that being said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask when you're up here. First up today is going to be Amanda. Is it Rabowski?
Hug and kiss.
All right, Ms. Rabowski, come on up.
Any relation to David? Come on, Amanda. Let's see you.
All right, Ms. Rabowski, I have good news.
Are we
and
just
bad
on this
news.
camera today? Oh, there's
Which one do you want first?
yes, there.
Messy hair, don't care.
You got charged with
Oh,
speeding.
got a good looking crew there.
On July the 3rd, and specifically going 68 and 50. You never dealt with that by either paying the ticket in your appearance or by showing up in court to address the charges. And for that reason, we put on license forfeiture. So we're going to deal with that today. All
He
right.
said rookie numbers.
How do you want to plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Okay. Did you understand the nature of a guilty plea and the consequences for entering a guilty plea based on my explanation?
Yes, sir.
And you're looking up to $150 fine maximum. Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything you want to say about why you're hot-footing it out there on State Route 79 and then blowing us off?
I didn't have the money to pay for the ticket. I'm a
So
single mom of
basically,
five.
you okay, but Ostrich,
I love the way he just put
And
that.
and yet here you are still dealing with it.
Hot
right?
footing it.
Okay. Well,
And blowing us
not
off.
the end of the world, and you've dealt with it now. And when I go ahead and impose the fine today, you pay that off in full. We'll get rid of the license forfeiture, and you can get your license back after paying a small reinstatement fee. Okay. You said you're a single mom of 5.
Yes,
How old are your kids?
from 16 to 5 years old.
She ain't only been hot footing on the road. She's
I'm
been
a
hot
VA.
footing in bed too.
Job,
Mm-hmm.
3 days a week.
I'm
so-
not the IRS, so I'm not really that concerned about whether they're withholding your taxes. Now, if we got IRS agents watching on
Chad.
YouTube right now, who knows?
I don't know if you need that.
I don't. That's yours. I do need your rights form though.
This one?
Yep. Did you
Do you think
understand?
IRS agents are watching that right now?
Yeah. So here's the deal for future reference. If you show up and plead guilty, you get extra time to pay off your ticket. Whereas if you just are going to mail in your check and say, I don't want to be there, I don't want to have to show up, you only get that amount of time that the officer gives you when he gives you your citation. So it's a difference usually between 90 days and 30 days. Okay. And if you panic like you did and you don't do anything about it, then you get your license forfeited. So it's not good.
Hence the ostrich thing. Put your head in the sand.
Are you saying I have to pay the ticket today? Because I don't have to.
You don't have to pay the ticket in full today, but
Mm-hmm.
typically we won't drop that forfeiture until you've paid off.
Are you asking for money right now?
Now, you were 18.
I'll do
over. I have a
anything.
traffic schedule that tells me how much to charge you based upon how fast you were going over and if you had any prior moving violations within the previous 12 months. For you, it looks like you did.
Time to start laying low, boys.
You had 2. So let's see, 18 over.
Time to become a sovereign citizen. They don't pay taxes.
That's going to be a $54 fine, and I'm going to order.
Is she one of those people that dyes her hair silver or gray
clerk's
and
office.
she doesn't have
Or
gray
is she
hair?
the
Show your
is
proof
she
of
the
insurance
model
when you
that the
recite
younger
it, so
ones are
it's
trying to
like
look
satisfied.
like? I don't know. She might be. That might be all natural.
Her face is very smooth.
I did say there was good news, right? You also got charged with driving under that license forfeiture for not taking care of it, and that was filed. That was allegedly committed on September the 12th. Well, luckily for you, the officer who cited you did not do what he had to do as far as the timing or giving you the right court time. So for that reason, our policy is we dismiss the citation. So that's your good news.
good
A little bit of gray area news, which is technically they could recite you for that. But for the purposes of this ticket,
Bastards.
all right? It's dismissed, and you'll find out how much you owe on your fines and costs when you go with the bailiff down to the clerk's office. Any questions? All right, go ahead and see where you were before, and the bailiff's going to be with you in a moment. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next
Dylan Vickers. Come on up.
Dylan Dickers.
is Dylan, the one that looks like that.
Mr. Vickers, you understand your rights?
No,
today?
Danny Duncan there in the black. I wonder what he did
Did you
to
get a
looking
copy of your
cover.
complaint?
I did.
Did you read it and understand what it is you've been charged with?
Somewhat.
Well,
Uh-oh.
do you understand that the charge is criminal mischief, and it's alleged that on or about June the
Sovereign.
22nd of this year within Monroe Township.
wearing a suit.
Ohio,
Come
you
on
did,
now.
Without privilege to do so, knowingly defaced, damaged, destroyed, or otherwise improperly tampered with the property of another. So I'm not asking if you know the details and what they're saying you specifically did. But you
Just
understand
move
that that's
slightly
the
to the left or the
It's a
right,
third-degree
please.
misdemeanor carries up to 60 days jail, up to a $500
Just
fine. Could carry the possibility of
tiny little
court
bit.
costs and restitution as well, depending on what the facts and circumstances are. That's all subject to you, whether or not, if you were to be guilty, to plead guilty, to be convicted of the offense.
American
If
greed.
not guilty or they dismiss it, then you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So do you understand all that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how do you wish to plead?
Not guilty.
And what's your current address?
652
Mhm.
Chelsea Court,
In
Johnstown.
Johnstown?
Yes,
All
sir.
right. What do you do for a living?
I'm unemployed. I used to work in IT, but I receive 100% disability through the VA individual.
I was about to say, I just looked over here and saw a reference to the Universal Code of Military Justice. So you were in the service?
Yes, Your
What branch?
Honor. Air Force, sir.
Okay. And what years were you in?
2014 through 2018.
Okay. And you medically discharged?
Yes, Your Honor.
What was your occupational specialty for the Air Force?
I was a 4E OX1. I was a public health technician.
Were you ever at Camp Lejeune and drank the water?
All right.
That shit
Now,
is
the weird thing about
on
this case
every
is,
commercial,
I just noticed,
on
it's
TV,
alleged
radio,
back in June,
Facebook.
but they didn't file the complaint until about a couple of weeks ago. So let me take a quick look here.
If I may offer some clarification, Your Honor.
Well,
Yeah.
let's hold off on making any statements about what may or may not have happened because as of right now, you've entered a plea of not guilty, and anything you say could possibly be used
Right.
in recording all this. So
Yes, Your
that's probably a better conversation to have either with your lawyer or with or with the judge on the day of your actual
Thank you,
trial.
Cherry.
Okay. So let me just take a quick look here.
All right, so he doesn't really understand the charges, but he does understand enough what he's being charged with.
Yeah,
It sounded like he
mean-
did some vandalism or something. It almost, sounded that way.
well, he has a
destroyed
very calm demeanor. So when you think about the charges, it sounds like he's going off, on someone or something.
like he snapped. But I mean, good for him to get 100% from the VA. That means he's getting about $3,000 a month, Creed, for the rest of his life.
Well, I could live off of that.
I know. I told all my sons to join and just do 4 years and then collect that money, son.
Get hurt.
Yeah. You don't even need like one big injury. You can get like 10% for your hearing, 20% for your knee.
Dude, it is the newest, biggest thing out there. I mean, it is. I just bombarded with that Camp Lejeune thing,
And it's right here by my house. I mean, it's literally, this is Camp Lejeune where I live. That's the city it's in.
You have no prior knowledge of the BAMEs or whoever these alleged people. Okay.
No, Your Honor.
All right, here's what we're going to do, Mr. Vickers. I'm going to go ahead and release you on your own recognizance today. We'll get this randomly assigned to a judge set for a trial. If you're going to be applying for counsel, do it today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Other than that, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All
Thank
right,
you for your
very well. You may go with the bailiff.
I don't know. I think this is going to be a sue-free day, though, which is kind of
Erica
sad.
Tooker?
Hooker?
I hope not.
I mean, and say how much.
Morning, Ms. Tooker.
Tooker.
You stand your
Oh,
rights today?
I do.
And may I have your rights form, please? Thank you. Did you receive a copy of the 2 citations regarding the dogs?
I did.
Did you read them? Do you understand what it is you've been charged with?
I do.
Looks like we've got failure to license, Jack, a Chihuahua, and failure to confine.
Did he
Jack,
just
said
say
Chihuahua. Now, both of these are minor misdemeanors. Each carries
JAP?
a $150 fine. How would you like to plead?
Or no,
The
JAP?
tags one, guilty,
I
and
swear
for the confinement one, no contest.
Okay. Now, as far as the no contest,
She's
plea,
got her Harry Carey glasses on.
That's the burden of proof here. You have a right to a trial to the court, but not a jury because there's no jail associated with these charges.
Okay.
You understand? A plea of guilty is a complete admission of guilt. That means they don't have to prove anything. You give up your right to a trial, and I'll simply proceed to impose the fine. Will be done. No contest plea is not an admission of guilt. Could not be used against you later on if somebody were to sue you over these alleged incidents. But it is an admission of the truth of the facts alleged, which means if the facts that are contained in the dog warden's report support
Chris.
the charge of failure to confine, I will find you guilty. Do you understand that? So
Um,
if you don't think you're guilty of failure to confine, you should plead not guilty to that charge.
then
at
not
trial.
guilty.
Okay. And then you can stick with your guilty on the
Yeah,
license, or you
yeah.
can deal with everything the same time next time you come back.
No, I'll just stick with the guilty on that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's
and
not fight
you-
that, shall we?
Yeah, let's.
Failure to register
give you an
your dog.
opportunity to make a
Let's go to
statement
court.
as far as it relates to the failure to license. But again, you're going to be careful about what you want to say here because we're recording everything.
Yeah, I guess I just have a so when I come back, I don't have to go to trial. Like I can have a chance to speak before.
If you,
See, at
yeah,
that
when
point.
you come back, I mean, it'll be scheduled for a trial, but the prosecutor will come out and talk to
Christy.
you and say, what do you want to do here? And if
Okay.
you say, I
Hey.
my side of the story,
Right.
you can change your plea back to no contest. You can do guilty.
That's something I can get
Either way,
behind,
you'll
lad.
always have a
Right.
right to make a statement to
Okay.
the court before any decisions. Are made.
Okay.
All right.
Class action.
I need you to verify your address for me, please.
It's 223 Fairview Avenue in Granville.
All right. Are you employed?
I am.
What do you do?
I own a cleaning company and I provide in-home care.
Very good. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You want to say anything about the failure to license?
No.
Okay. That'll be a $25 fine. I'll already pay the court costs.
Okay.
And,
Hey, Creed left.
How much that is when you get down there to the clerk's office.
Okay.
Does that appear to be Jack?
That's Marianne. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, what'll happen on the other charges? It will be randomly assigned to a judge set for a trial. It might be me, might be Judge George.
Okay.
We'll send you notice, so make sure your address is correct on your
Yes.
bond paperwork.
They are so strict on their dog registering here in this county.
Any trial obligations,
That's
you're
fine.
required to be brought to trial within 30 days, and so this will probably get set within about 3 weeks or so.
Please like this video.
Any questions?
No.
All right, tell you
All
what,
right.
have a seat where you're just sit in the back row there, and then
Okay.
the bail with you. All
Thank
right,
you.
have a good day.
Oh,
Zeth Moore,
she had some big ass calf muscles.
good afternoon, Mr. Moore. Do you understand your rights in court today?
Yes, sir.
Did you receive a copy of your citation?
Yes, sir.
Did you read it? Did you understand what it is you've been charged
I
with?
did.
You've been cited for operating a vehicle while impaired. It is a first-degree misdemeanor, carries up to 180 days jail, up to a $1,075 fine, and a license suspension of up to 3 years. How do you wish to plead?
Guilty, sir.
Guilty? Okay. There's mandatory minimum penalties associated with the charge as well, which are at least a $375 fine, at least a 1-year license suspension, and at least a 3-day jail term, or in the alternative, a requirement that you successfully complete a 3-day driver intervention program. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, you have the right to be represented by an attorney, and if you couldn't afford one, we would give you one at absolutely no cost. The benefit of having a lawyer is somebody who can advise you of any motions that can be made on your behalf to improve your
That's what you have to do. They make you come right up here to the front,
against
like
the
it's
charge.
class.
And in general, look out for your best interest and try to get you the best possible outcome from this case. With that understanding, is it your intention today to waive or to give up your right to a lawyer?
Oh, okay.
Well, even without a lawyer, you remain presumed to be innocent. You have a right to a trial with a judge or a jury, and it's the state's burden to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt before you could be convicted or sentenced. Understand?
Yes, sir.
At the trial, you would have the right to confront your accusers as well as to subpoena your own witnesses to compel their attendance at trial. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And you have a constitutional right and a due process right to present a defense in the form of calling other witnesses, testifying on your own behalf, presenting evidence. You
Yes.
also have a constitutional right not to testify if you didn't want to. You don't have to present a defense because it's the state's burden of proof. If you decided you didn't want to take the stand, nobody could force you to, and your decision would play absolutely no role in the determination of your guilt or your innocence.
I'm very tempted to buy some of these.
Now, if I accept your
Not today.
guilty plea as a complete admission of guilt, by tendering that plea, you admit that you committed this offense. That means the state doesn't have to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt for me to find you guilty. It also means you waive those other rights that we've just discussed. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Now, I will impose sentence upon you today if I accept your plea of guilty. Have you been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to do what you're doing?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of anything right now?
No, sir.
And are you a citizen of the United States of America?
Would you tell me if you were?
Waivers have been knowingly and intelligently and voluntarily made. Now, you've indicated you want to waive your right to a counsel.
See you
which
soon, Mayor.
you're not required to, but if it is your decision to do so, it is required that be conducted or that be executed in writing. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hand you here in a moment a form entitled Waiver of Attorney. I want you to actually read it and look it over, because when you come back with it, I'm going to ask you if you read it and if you understood it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And if you lie, the judge will know.
September. Now you can use one of those tables behind you to write on. I always do that.
Oh, Chair, you're too kind, too good to us. All the licks, the
Finish
loves, the
looking over that,
likes.
signing, and just come on back up. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Drop a Jolly Rancher in that bad boy, you're good to go. It's a party. Little Zima with a Jolly Rancher in it. Boy, it's a good night in the town. I tell you what.
All right. So, Mr. Moore, did you read that form?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand what it said?
I did.
No, I'm illiterate, Your
I'm
Honor.
reading the reports here.
Get on the back nine. Get you a Zima. He wrote something inappropriate to the judge. He had to read it real quick while we're waiting for that. Make sure you like the video. Yada, yada, yada. And look at this guy's neck tattoo, by the way.
I'd
Look at
find
that.
the waiver of the exam is knowingly.
What a nice neck tattoo. I mean, that is
Okay.
something else.
You have a right to make a statement if you like, but you're not required to. Is there anything that you'd like to say here? What do you do for a living?
Construction.
Shelly, you're missing out on Zima.
Yard and home maintenance.
And how long have you been with that outfit?
I've been about 2.5 months now.
Okay. But has that primarily been your
Trade.
trade? Okay. Now, there was an accident here, so I can't just go ahead and take your word for it. Was the Toyota insured?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The clerks will talk to you about, if you have your proof of insurance today, that's great, because you do not?
I do have.
Okay, then you're going to want to make sure that you show the clerks that, okay?
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, in addition to the suspension that I'm required to impose, you could be looking at a further suspension, but since you did have insurance, you should be in good shape. So let's see here. No priors.
Everybody's good after 37 Zimas. Come on.
Zima. Yes, with the Jolly Ranchers. Pretty old school. That's a thing of the past now. They stopped making that pink can stuff.
Pretty sure it's
Tabs are
hard to
very-
find, too.
Very unique.
It was the first diet-only drink, right?
103.
Was it diet? I don't know.
Pretty sure it was. Like, Tab was made just for people on diets, I guess, or looking to drop a few LBs.
And you got pulled over on the 17th. Or, no. Yeah, 17th. Would have been Saturday? Okay.
Oh, by the way, today is voter registration day. Make sure you go out like me and Creed and register to vote right now.
Yeah, you'll see our little I voted sticker when we come back. Maybe.
Okay. Well, the fact that this is your first OVI and you're, 39? Leads me to believe that this is pretty out of character and unlikely to reoccur. It's important that it doesn't, because obviously the penalties get a lot worse there with actual jail time without any alternative to it on the second offense within 10 years from today's date. A third offense within a 10-year period from today's date is a mandatory minimum of 30 days. Possibly 60 if you refuse the test or test over the high limit. A fourth one in 10 years could result in felony charges. So, as I said, I don't anticipate that you're going to have any issues, but it's important that you make sure you don't. So,
Chat's
go
all
ahead
over
and
the
accept
place.
plead guilty, impose a 30-day
I
jail
love
term. Also spend 27 days.
Because
of that
that's our
time
show
on
is
probation for a period of 1 year. Starting today.
exactly the same.
As a specific term of that, you're going to be required to successfully complete the 3-day driver intervention program and also participate in a drug and alcohol screening while there. If they recommend further counseling, you'll have to do that until released in writing. If they don't, you don't have any obligations in that regard. You're not to consume alcohol to excess. You're not
I
to
remember
use,
AIDS.
an illegal drug or abusing a prescription medication. You need to maintain suitable employment and pay a fine of $375 plus the court costs. I'll suspend your license for 1 year. That'll be
That's a
effective
big-ass
Tuesday,
fine
on the
for
17th.
licking.
You are eligible to ask for limited driving privileges. However, you're subject to what's called a 30-day hard time suspension, which means you can submit your application today. It'll make its way to me fairly quickly. If I grant that,
I had one of those last week.
appropriate to do that for you. Even if I signed off on it tomorrow,
Got
you
that
still
here
couldn't
too.
exercise those rights until
Speaking of that,
15th.
Creed's in over a great event that's happening somewhere.
Unfortunately, there's mandatory jail time and there's no alternative to the jail time for that.
Including
if you do
judging
get
the
limited
taste and
privileges,
volume.
I never
I
pick
like
up-
distance was my
Yeah, you
favorite.
will. No, you're not. But if you do, be 100% sure that you're permitted to drive where you're driving under those privileges. Because again, driving under that type of a suspension, mandatory minimum 3 days jail with no alternative. All right. We'll give you time to pay off your fines and your court costs. You have any questions?
Thank you, sir.
All right. Very well. Have a seat, and the bell's going to be with you in a moment. Good
Welcome
luck.
back, Chris.
About time you got here.
Stephen Lemaster.
No, Squirt is pretty good. Tab, by the way, was a Diet Cola soft drink created and produced by
You understand your
Coca-Cola.
rights?
You're right. I didn't know it was that.
All righty. Well, depending on how we resolve this here today, that we'll see how that goes.
Did you know
So you're
they
here because I had issued a warrant for your arrest when you
Okay.
failed to appear for probably a trial.
Has he got slits on his sleeves?
And that was back in July of last summer, not this past summer, but the year before.
those blood stains?
You're charged with driving under a child support suspension and driving outside of the marked lanes. Now, based upon the information that I have in front of me, which does not include a DMV printout, I can't tell whether you have priors or not, and so I have to assume that you don't. What that means is that at least as of today and right now, that driver's license offense, there's actually two of them. There's driving under this child support suspension, then there's also a no ops violation.
Oh, so he's got
As of right
children.
now, I have to assume that those are
Yeah, he didn't pay for his kid, so he lost his
These are
license.
jail time
Dope.
associated with them, under how I have to interpret it today. Do you understand?
Yes.
The marked lanes, that's a minor misdemeanor, maximum penalty is $150 fine. You have a couple
Does-
of options here.
Does he have a job?
If you want, you can stand on your pleas of not guilty. I'll continue your bond that you posted. We'll get new court dates and mail those out to you. However, If you want to resolve it today because I was the assigned judge and you want to change your pleas to guilty or no contest, we can do that and wrap it up. It's up to you.
No contest is fine. Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you understand that you're not required to plead no contest and you're not admitting that you're guilty and it can't be used against you later on, but you are admitting that what they say happened is true and that if the facts are there, then I will enter guilty findings. Understand?
Yes.
All right. You have a right to a trial with a judge. You have a right to hold the state to its burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, but by pleading no contest, they don't have to prove anything you waive.
If you can afford these fancy shirts, you
Are
can
you
afford
a
to
citizen of the United
pay
States?
for those kids.
All right. Let me take a quick look here at the file
Fancy ass shirt.
Well,
to help pay off.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
While he's looking at that, I just want to show you real quick. When you're in prison and you, get laid, it's called inmate love.
Nice. If I just wanted to show you that Tab apparently went the way of Mr. Pibb at one point and put the extra on there. Did you know that?
I did not.
That was kind of interesting.
Good for them. Good for them.
Apparently it didn't work out that well.
At least they tried, Creed.
I never knew that was a diet drink.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even remember if I liked it all that much.
Oh, I never drank it because it was a diet soda for people on diets. I wasn't on diet. Creed, speaking of our military from earlier, we have a lady who is serving right now her country. I believe she is a 3-stripe general.
That's not how you wear that, right?
Well, I mean, you can, I guess. She's doing it. Thank you for your service. Pamela, we need light beer. Glug, 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 glug.
Boy, you hear this fuzz that I'm
Did you
fighting
were you
today?
charged with any other offenses out of this traffic stop? Yeah. Okay.
So
what
annoying.
happened between last summer and now? I mean, how come you didn't show up for your court date?
It's honestly slipped my mind, and I haven't.
I was trying to,
Recently down.
Oh, look at that badass shirt.
Holder on me, so I realized I had to come up and get this taken care of. I'm going here today.
Private Bass, come around here.
Now, are you on supervision out of Fairfield County?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Felony or misdemeanor?
I'm on. I'm working through my case. So they got down the.
So you're on like
bond.
pretrial bond?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You have a counsel for down there?
Never did ask him about
Yeah,
a job.
Yeah, I do.
Who's your attorney?
Sherry Houston.
Oh, he's got an attorney.
Ankle bracelet and everything.
Look at him.
Well, like I said, you're catching a big break because they were too lazy to pull your BMV records. So you got charged with 2 different theories of driving, improper driving or illegal driving. I'm only going to enter a conviction on the driving under the child support. That'll be a $100 fine. Court costs will be imposed. No conviction on the no ops, and it'll be a $25 fine on the Mark Lanes violation. So any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Have a seat where you were before, and the bell's going to be with you in a moment. Good luck. Mason Black.
Basic black. Oh, there's the chair.
Mr. Black.
It is. Oh, how
Your senior rights report
racist.
today? May I have your rights form, please?
That's so racist, Stansbury.
Thank you. Okay, so you don't have copies of your complaint because I've got them right here, but I'm going to hold off on that for a moment because if I give them to you, you're just going to start looking at that instead of listening to me. But I will give these to you before we're finished, all right? Looks like you have a single charge. It's alleged to have occurred back on July the 23rd within the city of Newark in Lincoln County, Ohio. The allegation is that you, being a parent, guardian, or custodian, or a person having custody or control of a person in loco parentis of a child under 18 years of age, recklessly created a substantial risk to the health or safety of the child by violating a duty of care, protection, or support. That's commonly known as child endangering. It is a misdemeanor of the 1st degree, and it carries a maximum penalties of up to 180 days jail and up to $1,000.
Not good.
Understand?
Yes, sir.
And how do you wish to plead?
I cited with this dismissed a month before. Got to the court date.
Hi.
Okay, so what this is I'm not sure where this is from.
Hello.
letterhead or anything like that. But if it's who if this is from John.
Hello, you.
It's a different matter between them opening up a case on you and a criminal charge being filed. So they may have closed their case.
But you guys picked it up.
We didn't pick it up. I mean, what happened was the police made a referral to Children's Services, who opened a case.
Can you
They
read what's on the back of his arms
office who
since you're here?
investigation and believed that it merited this charge. Now they're still going to have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. But the criminal matter is, even though it's related to the Children's Services case, it's completely separate proceeding. Understand? All right, I'm going to give that back to you. That's yours.
He thought he was going to get out of this. He brought a letter with him that had something to do with another case being dismissed. Not even this one.
Yeah, carries up to 180 days jail, up to $1,000 fine. So you want to do not guilty?
Making Danny Duncan wait.
Not guilty. What's your address?
1309 Countryside Drive, apartment C, as in Cat, Newark, Ohio, 43055.
Apartment C. Okay. Now, they did do a summons, but unfortunately, they didn't bother to. Yeah, they did have an apartment C. It came back as unclaimed. They mailed it out.
Yeah, can't do that while we're
the end
live.
of August.
Yeah, it's not happening.
So it came back as unclaimed, which is why we then sent you just a regular letter that said, "Hey, be here on today," and you got that, right?
Yes,
and so
that
here
is.
you are.
Chris, remember to
Let me take a
ask
quick look at
whoever
the
you're in the
phone.
meeting
We're gonna
with
talk
if they
about
have a
your bond real
YouTube. Okay, thank you.
Just, pass out QR codes. So all they got to do is scan it.
Yeah, first you got to make the QR code, but appreciate that.
We know you could do it.
We got faith in you, Chris.
You think those two guys are brothers that are sitting there?
Okay. Are you employed?
Why can they not be lovers? Why do you go with brothers?
Okay.
Fine. Do you think those two guys are lovers?
Now, is that to attempt?
No, I think they're brothers.
Oh, well.
That one they even have shorts on? Did you see that? The one in the white?
You like some high and tight, Creed.
Okay.
Holy
So
shit.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. I'm not going to put on any special conditions or terms. This case will be randomly assigned to a judge set for a trial. You'll get notice in the mail when that's going to be. If you're going to hire your own attorney, you can certainly do that. If you're going to go court appointed, turn in your application today before you leave. That's the form, and that's what it'll go to the clerk with, and that's where you're going next. Main thing is don't wait until the day of your trial deal with getting an attorney. So the record should reflect. I'm going to hand you.
I'm
your
sure
copy of
many
the
wait till
complaint.
the day.
And do you have any other questions?
They must if they bring it up all the time.
All right, and you'll
Yeah.
have a chance to look over that when you're waiting down there at the clerk's office for your turn to be called. So that being said, excuse me, make
No.
sure that when you sign your bond.
Breakfast
being
coming
said-
back up.
All right, very well. Let's see. one last
Imagine if he
thing.
projectile like Exorcist
All right.
vomits
Just vomits all over them.
Mr. Black's face. Hey, what happened? to
Whoa,
King?
wait a minute.
Wow, that was a quick exit. Holy crap.
That's not how it's done. What?
What?
happened? Judge, we have one more. Can you turn it back on?
Judge.
You.
Jeez.
Hello.
That
You.
was rude.
That was super rude. Wow.
Zero warning.
At least tap us on the shoulder and say, hey, bud, we're heading out.
See what's happening over here. Full court. Holy crap, with TV cameras even.
Talking to the mother, Amanda Wood, at this time.
The hell's going on here?
What? Tell us about that conversation. How'd that go?
I asked her what had happened to the child to get in that condition. I asked her about the bruising on the forehead. Her reply to that was that it may have been caused by the older brother.
Well, hello there.
Paul was his name.
Hello there.
I asked her about if she had noticed the difficult breathing noises that I had heard. And she said she had.
Oh, is that what it is?
In the
Yeah,
morning.
this sounds bad.
Yeah.
I believe without.
But the TV cameras are
I
there.
think she says she knows it like 11 o'clock in the morning, the day of.
All right.
his
Creed, don't,
son.
we're not going to do that.
Not today. No, not today.
Niner?
Is he here?
Yeah, bro.
Your Honor, we were recommending a $3,000 bond. That was a breakdown of a $1,000 bond for the speeding and $1,000 for the fleeing and eluding, and then a $500
Oh.
bond on each of the reckless and the driving
Yeah,
without
no.
a license. If there's a Riverside issue, Your
Nope.
Honor, usually the state takes no position on that if we have no legal standing to argue against it. I was trying to call Ms. McMichael to see if our office had a specific stance on the 72-hour rule, Your Honor, but I was not able to reach her.
Well, hello there.
I'm gonna mull over this one just for one moment. So we're just
She's
gonna, I'm
gonna
gonna have
mull
Molly
it
come
over,
back at the
Creed.
end. So if you could just be seated, I'm gonna take a second before I make a decision on this one. So I thank you for both of your arguments, and I will make a decision at the end of the calendar. So if you can just remain in the courtroom, I'm gonna come back to him once we do the
Any
language line
chance
cases.
that the judge's chair has broke during court?
Understood.
She doesn't
Thank you,
realize she's fallen so far down, almost out of frame.
Oh,
Let's go
no.
ahead and do, Mr. Osborne. So Mr. Leonard Osborne.
While she's doing that for a second, I want to show you who's in fourth place today as far as the court-wise goes on the YouTubes. We got Alex Jones, Court TV, 524 people watching Judge.
It must be a big case because he doesn't typically have numbers like that.
Oh my God, no. And then us. I mean, that's pretty damn good.
Or
Love
come
that.
to an agreement for an unsecured judicial release. The main reasons for that being that the amount that was alleged to have been found does fall under their backlog policy, and it being a nonviolent offense and his no criminal history whatsoever. He is 40 years old. He's been in Georgia for 7 years. He's originally from Jamaica, but this is his home where his family
Jamaica me
resides.
horny.
He lives in the Lithonia area with his son. He's been at that specific address for almost a year now. His son is 16 years old, and he does have family and friends in the area that have been supportive. I've reached out to them. He does work 2 jobs. He works at Impala Solution and a Taco Mac. He's been at the Solutions for 3 years, and
Taco
he just
Mac.
started the
Taco
Taco Mac job
Mac.
for 6 months ago so that he
Talking
can
my
support
name,
his family.
Corey.
He did graduate high school in Jamaica. Like I said, no criminal history, and we have no reason to believe that he would be a risk to reoffend pending trial. So we would ask Your Honor to go along with the UJR that we have come to an agreement with the state.
Okay, thank you. I'll hear.
Well, we all know this is a little more important. Let's go ahead and check out what the hell a Taco Mac is, where they have world famous wings, apparently.
Yeah, where's the taco in the mac? I was expecting like tacos with macaroni and cheese in them.
Live beer stats, real-time freshness updates, 65 styles of beer, 1,148 unique beers.
And everything is good on the looks like the pressure on the taps. Is that what we're getting here? I'm not sure.
Or is that how many pours they get? Is this one of those places that you get a you buy the glass, it has the code underneath it or whatever, and then you know what I'm talking about? Like
Right. I like that.
You want to start our order? Might as well.
Oh, I bet that's fantastic. Oh, I can only wait.
Sure.
There's only one, right? Oh no, there's plenty of them. Can we order from the one in Cumming?
It's just going back to that. Jesus Christ. Terrible. Wings, bites, and shares, nachos. They do have tacos. Oh, this
There
Taco
they are.
Tuesday.
These are all pretty
little fancy.
Ooey chicken tang.
South Street Philly. I like the sound
Are
of
those-
Cuban.
is that-
That's what I'm.
Is that okra that comes with that Philly?
Look at that.
Oh wow, that is.
Oh,
those
look
are
at the
tots.
sides. Oh,
Brussels
Lord.
sprouts, mac and cheese. There it is.
They do have mac and cheese, house made. Don't you know?
Crafted by a
Nope, it's broccoli.
yeah. Who doesn't love a good Cuban and broccoli?
Buffalo chicken stuff. It's a pretty cool looking spot, though.
Seems like a good place. I mean, if he works there and he can hook us up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Price is
Sorry,
58 years old.
Sorry.
Unfortunately, he is homeless at the moment. Him and his fiance are both homeless. She's actually disabled, so he does care for her.
The double whammy.
He does work. He's self-employed as a general handyman. His specialty, he told me, was commercial electrician. So he's
How
been
does
doing
he
that for
not
about
work
9 to
and
10
he's
years.
self-employed?
He is looking for more employment when he's out so that he can continue to support his fiance, but he is concerned for her well-being while he's in jail. He's from Georgia. He's gone back and forth a little bit between here and Colorado, but he is from here. This is where he spends
Way
his
too
time
cold in
now.
Colorado to be
And he
homeless.
does reside in the Tucker
Sarge.
area, but
Sarge.
he finished the 11th grade unfortunately, he does have an FTA as well at the moment. So even if he's given a bond here today,
They have a burger called the Chattahoochee,
The Peachtree, the Fox,
the Silver Comet, and the Claremont.
the Claremont.
we are asking it for an unsecured judicial release on this case. I would point out it's non-violent and no weapons were found on him at all. So we would ask for UJR.
Okay, thank you. I'll hear from the state.
Your Honor, he has 2 cycles out of Colorado. Currently, it looks like he has an open case for a 2019 forged checks. It didn't have a disposition on it. Out of Georgia, he has 9 cycles. The most recent ones being that he had a 2020 felony theft by taking out of Gwinnett and 2 separate 2020 parole violations out of Gwinnett. Due to the facts and circumstances of this case, Your Honor, and his criminal history, the state is recommending a $2,000 bond.
Okay, thank you. Give me a moment.
I mean, he might be homeless, but apparently he gets around.
No.
Can I say something, Your Honor? No. She shut that down, didn't she?
Real quick.
If the comment's real big, we'll cover up the judge's face, by the way. Like that one. Poor judge. There's some angry women in Georgia. I've yet to see a female judge that was not just pissed off in Georgia.
Did Knox ever come on, or
no? I didn't see him. You know, I have to look. You can't
not
just
that
look
Knox?
up. You can't just look up Knox County. You gotta know that secret word that it
Is there
lists
anything
under.
holding him in?
It's only the other FTA that he does have the bond on. I believe his family was going to try to bond him out on that one, but having another 2,000 would just be probably too much for him to afford.
Well, if he's homeless, we're giving him a place to stay. I mean, you might want to stay there. C. Tucker is rocking
And
the
the
vents.
bond was that FTA was for which of the cases?
It was, let's see. I believe the case number on the FTA is 20C34031B. I believe
Got me
it's a
with that one, Jay.
misdemeanor case here in DeKalb.
Wrestling.
That was, wait 1 second. Give me that case number one more time.
Yes, at
Oh, John.
20C34031, the letter B.
C3.
C34031, and then B, the letter B.
As in boy?
30.
Oh, shit.
So 20C.
Yes.
34.
031B.
I did get a report from Mad Cave that his internet is down.
Tell him Thursday at noon East.
So see you on Thursday, bud.
There he is. Ooh, hello, hello, hello.
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 And how is he anticipating if he's going to get the notices of court date or know when to come back or how to come back for court?
Yes, Judge, he actually does have a mailing address in Tucker. I did fail to mention that. So he does have a place to get mail for any court dates that may come up.
He also has a beeper, Your Honor, that we can hit him up on. That pager will let him know it's time to come to court. What if we give all criminals, you know, like a leg band or like a Fitbit type thing they can wear all the time, and it just goes off when it's time to come to court? Like, you know, you're waiting in a queue
Yeah.
or a ride. Oh, time for me to go to court. Gots to go.
Just want to show you Kansas City Municipal Court.
Judge Schultz.
Whole lot.
She
happening
knows
there.
nothing. What is that on that dude's head right there? Is he got like a nail sticking out of his head?
This docket is being live streamed
What
on
about
YouTube.
this one here?
Not gutter trash.
Kansas court hearings
Right
are
there?
required to be open to the public, so we are streaming this live.
Look at this.
What
oral
is that?
fixation.
lo requiere las leyes para que estén abiertos al público.
It
No
looks
more
like it is
Spanglish.
Net, Your Honor.
Judge
Well,
still
this-
having a time.
Your Honor, if I could
Extremely
just
slow
raise one
moving.
issue while we're looking at his mailing address.
Yes.
He did have return mail from a Tucker address from state court back in August 30th of 2021. So if we could just make sure it's not that same address, I'm not gonna give that.
Come back
house number.
undeliverable, Creed.
If you can just put it in the chat feature,
Yes.
and then the public defender's office can confirm if that is the address they currently have.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, flush it. You're not kidding. Booth 1.
Oh, I see. Go fuck yourself on there as well. Bottom row.
Ah! All right, we have to stay here now.
I mean, I know booth 1 is scary and all, but
Today to speak to somebody from
Oh.
Kansas Legal Services. If you
Wow.
can Mute and confirm that for me.
can you confirm go fuck yourself?
Should be a microphone icon.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Antenna,
is that-
yes.
You were continued to today for that?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna give you a new in-person date, but then we're gonna send you to Kansas Legal Services to speak to their representative now, so they can.
That's a first
start
for
getting
us. I mean,
Working on your case, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So you'll need to appear in person.
I was busy watching booth
October
1.
18th at 2 p.m.
Okay.
And then we're gonna send you to the.
We're not leaving. I've got to go to the bathroom. We're staying.
Yeah, do your thing, and then I'll BRB when you get back.
Just click join when the prompt comes up.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does nobody notice?
Is booth 1, if you could unmute.
Oh,
and
booth
then
1,
let me
ladies
know
and
your
gentlemen.
name, please.
My name is Courtney Howard.
Okay, give me one moment, Ms. Howard, while I look that up.
This should
Ms.
be an
Howard, it
interesting
looks
one.
like you had been charged with failing to wear a seatbelt and no proof of insurance. Those were alleged to have occurred January 26th of 2022 in the area of South 18th and Wilson. Then there's also a no proof of insurance, expired tag, and failure to appear. Those were alleged to have occurred June 28th. of
God, she drives.
2022 in the area of North 29th and State. Do you want to speak to a prosecutor, set it for trial, or request a continuance to hire an attorney?
Oh, yeah, it is too.
We got proof of like insurance and proof of vehicle.
Okay, do you have that with you today?
Yes.
Okay, we'll send you to the prosecutor. Just click join when the prompt comes up. The person that's with you will help you.
Have we ever been to Kansas City to this court?
Okay, next is booth 2. If you could unmute and let me know your name.
Pebbles Caldwell.
Okay, give me one moment, Ms.
Another great
Caldwell,
find
while I
is
look that up.
the one with the little piece of hair there. Phone number. Completely.
Oh, well, there you go. Give him a call. See if he answers.
Melissa just got up from a nap, laying in bed. Moto G, we just saw his ass. See, there you go. Keep seeing his
All
ass.
right, it looks like you've been charged with no proof of insurance, not having a driver's license, and failing to wear a seatbelt. Those were alleged to have occurred May 23rd of 2021 in the area of 77th and Leavenworth Road. Then
What do you
were
think
also
Go Fuck
charged
Yourself
with
did?
passenger
I don't know,
safety,
but we have to stay and see.
to appear,
I mean,
driving while suspended, and speeding.
we can't
Specifically,
leave
the
that.
allegation is 52 and a 35. Those were alleged to have occurred October 27th of 2021 in the area of 32nd and Parallel.
Is iPhone
with that
really
driving
really
while
tall sitting
suspended,
down, or is the ceiling's 5 foot
there
tall?
is mandatory minimum jail time. Do you want to see if you qualify for the a new diversion program with.
You see what I'm saying? It almost looks like she's hitting her head just sitting down.
Yes, ma'am.
No bra.
Yeah, Chad, I don't think, Mike, have we ever been here to Kansas City?
No.
18th at 2 p.m. We're also going to send you to the breakout room that Kansas City.
Did go fuck yourself leave?
Just click join when the prompt comes
Well,
up.
that's not
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's hope it's just a temporary, quick thing.
All right. Next is Melissa Ortega.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Miss Ortega. If you just give me one moment to try to get that looked up.
Is Celestino, I believe, doing a little. Oh no, now he's just falling asleep.
Okay, so it looks like you are in a diversion status already.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we are going to send you directly to the prosecutor. Just
Okay.
Gang is she in?
when the prompt comes up.
Do you think Kimberly was go fuck yourself and she changed it?
Next is Hebrews 13.
I guess it
You
could.
could unmute and tell me your name, sir.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I mean, it was just a ceiling, so we'll never know if it doesn't come back.
So
need some detective work.
What
on
would you
that.
ask again? I'm sorry.
What your name is?
Antonio, coach.
Okay, give me one moment, Mr. Coates, while I look that up.
This judge seems to be so sweet and so kind.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a few things to say about my case and stuff because
good.
It got
This is not the time for the facts of the case. First, I have to read you the charges and then we'll go from there. It looks like you had been charged with not having a driver's license and no proof of insurance. Those were alleged to have occurred July 31st of 2020 in the area of 46th and Roswell. And then it looks like you were charged with a failure to appear for missing court. Sorry, my screen just changed. It looks like you received that June 16th of 2022 in the area of 17th and Hiawatha. Give me 1 second to look at that 2020.
Hiawatha.
Okay, it looks like it was marked as a traffic crash. Okay. So you have a few options. You can request a continuance to hire an attorney. You can speak to the prosecutor about a plea offer or state that you're not guilty and set these cases for a trial. What would you like to do?
I haven't dealt with this stuff before, but I wasn't even driving that night, so I don't even know how they got that.
So it sounds like you want to set your case for a trial then.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, give me 1 moment for us to get you a date.
Did we just come in with the defense of it wasn't me?
At 1 p.m. or November 9th
Shaggy.
at 1 p.m. Which would you
Look at
prefer?
booth one.
Upgrade.
So,
They're both Wednesdays at 1.
So you said October what again?
26th or November 9th at 1 o'clock.
Actually, I'll take the November one at 9 o'clock.
It's at 1 o'clock no matter what. It's November 9th at 1 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that will be an in-person hearing at City Hall, November 9th at 1 p.m.
These seem to be all traffic infractions and stuff, so I'm wondering if Moto G Power is
Judge?
Yes.
driving or not.
Thank you.
Got a couple people that look like they're in cars.
iPhone, they're
Next is
this
Emmanuel
one
Jones.
definitely is.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jones. If you just give me 1 moment.
Take your time.
It looks like you have been charged with no proof of insurance, expired tags, driving while suspended, and no tag on vehicle. Those were alleged to have occurred July 8th of 2022 in the 4700 block of Parallel Parkway. If you are convicted of the driving while suspended, there is mandatory minimum jail time. Do you want to see
Tons of multiple charges.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. But I actually wanted to get a continuance because I'd like to take it to trial.
Okay, so you don't want to see if you qualify for that new diversion program.
No, ma'am. I'd rather take it to trial.
Okay, and you understand that if you are convicted, there is the possibility of jail time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you want to hire an attorney or do you want to see if you qualify for the appointment of the public defender?
I'd like the public offender.
Okay, we're going to continue this to an in-person hearing October 14th at 8 a.m. for you to fill out the public defender affidavit, okay?
Okay.
So you'll appear in person October 14th.
It's hard to
It'll be
challenge.
at 8 a.m.
It's hard to go in and challenge a traffic
All right,
thing,
well,
especially if it's like driving with no insurance, driving with no
Sure.
license.
Yeah, I mean, and how about if they offer you a program?
Yeah, the divergence.
Do
He should have
it.
took that. Yeah.
Do it.
100 times over, take that. Especially
Booth 1, if you could unmute.
If
and
there's
let me know your name.
anything that we've learned.
Merle is about to talk.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear your name.
William Donnelly.
William,
Bill.
I think you said your last name is Donnelly, is that correct?
Oh, Walter.
Donnelly, yes.
Okay, give me one moment, Mr.
Surprised
Donnelly.
Walter's here. I thought he was right there in booth 1.
Creed has about a dozen burner phones if we ever need one.
All right, Mr. Donnelly, it looks like you had been charged with a nuisance animal that was alleged to have occurred
Nuisance
September
animal.
18th of 2021 in the area of 1227 South 41st Street.
They calling him a nuisance animal?
Let's see what the specific allegation is. So
You're accused of having a junkyard dog?
animal running at large, and then there are 3 failures to appear, 2 that you received July 9th of 2019 in the area of 12th and Kansas, 1 that you received September 18th of 2021 in the area of 1227 South 41st
I
Street.
think he just left
Then
his
there
job
is
as a
a
chimney
battery
sweep.
And a petty theft. Those were alleged to
Fingernails.
have occurred January 10th of 2018
Only
in
Knox
the
was
area
here.
of 1601 Village West Parkway. If you are convicted of that battery or theft, there is the possibility of jail time. You have the right to be represented by an
No.
attorney. Do you want a continuance to hire an attorney, or do you want to see if you qualify for the appointment of the public defender?
The public defender.
Okay, we're gonna continue this to October.
Dave, thank you. Overtime will continue.
I want to hear him testify at some point.
October 13th at 8 a.m. for you to.
Dave just
fill
paid
out
for a little
the
bit of
public
overtime. I'll be
defender
right back.
paperwork, okay?
Go right ahead.
Okay.
I'm in good
All right,
hands with these fine people.
October 13th at 8 a.m.
Bill, the nuisance animal. Does Bill know what just happened?
I'm sorry, the battery and the theft are not you. Hold on one second. Hold on one second.
We've just accused Bill of more crimes he did.
That's a different date of birth. Give me one moment.
All right, Bill, it says here
Give me the date of birth, that way I can get rid of the
you're
other.
born in 1974. Wait, this isn't you, Bill. Poor Bill, catching charges.
Okay, so what you actually have, I'm sorry, is the nuisance animal and then the 3 failures to appear. That's all that you've got going on.
Okay.
You want to speak to a prosecutor, set it for trial, or request a continuance to hire an attorney?
I don't know. The vicious dog bit nobody.
It
That's-
wasn't a vicious dog. It was having an animal running at large.
Uh,
So
she-
do you want to set it for trial, speak to a prosecutor, or get a continuance to hire an attorney?
I can't afford an attorney. I'm
This
on
was
Social
not jail
Security.
time, so I can't appoint a public defender to your case, but I'm happy to give you a continuance to the animal docket to give you a chance to hire an attorney if you would like.
No, I can't.
So do you want to speak to a prosecutor about a plea offer?
About a what?
Do you want to speak to the prosecutor about a plea offer?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, just click join when the prompt comes up.
Remove that court date, Judge?
Yes.
Okay.
They were trying to send my man Bill up the river.
His birthday is 7/21/42, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to move him to the because booth one is already not joined. I can't move him out.
Okay.
I'm gonna need
Oh, yeah.
Jessica
So
to try to
can Ms. Diaz do it?
What are we doing now?
So because somebody else had already been in that booth and they had been sent the prompt.
Okay. Yeah, I found.
We just have to move him.
I can send it.
Thank you. Next is
The Bill may never find his way out of the building again. He might live there from now on.
Yes, ma'am.
Give me one moment. Okay, and is that your name?
No, my name is Richard Cisinski.
Okay, Richard, give me one moment while I look that up.
I was gonna say Richard doesn't look like a Rhonda. That was look. I love good old Bill, man.
Okay, it
Bill's
looks
a
like
dude.
you have been charged with an inattentive driving, not having your driver's license in possession, and an improper turn. Those were alleged to have occurred April 16th of 2022 in the area of 44th Terrace and Shawnee Drive. Looks like you were seen back in August and you spoke to the prosecutor. Are you wanting to speak to the prosecutor again?
No.
What do you want to do?
What are my options?
Set it for trial, request a continuance to hire an attorney, or speak to the prosecutor?
Speak to the prosecutor.
Okay, I guess speak to the prosecutor.
Yeah, there you go.
Just click join when the prompt comes up.
Way to go, Dick. Is there any guesses on what the guy with the hair did?
Mario Lopez,
Mario Lopez.
unmute please.
I loved him on Saved by the Bell.
Señor López, por favor, si se hace presente.
Sí, aquí estoy.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, give me one moment while I look it up, please.
Permítame un momento.
Okay.
Okay, it looks like you were continued to today so that you could speak to somebody from Kansas Legal Services.
Parece que le dieron este día para que usted pueda hablar con los servicios de Kansas, Servicio Legal de Kansas.
Is that your understanding?
¿Es eso verdad?
Sí.
Pues creo que sí.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so we're going to continue this to October 18th at 2 p.m. for an in-person hearing.
Vamos a continuar esto para octubre 18 a las 2 p.m. para que usted pueda venir aquí.
We're also going to send you to the room that Kansas Legal Services is in now.
Y ahorita vamos a enviarlo al cuarto donde están los servicios legales de Kansas.
We will send the interpreter with you. Just click join when the prompt comes up.
Y vamos a enviar a la intérprete con usted. Por favor, presione el botón que va a aparecer en pantalla.
And
For the guy with the little.
there you go. If you need the interpreter's assistance, she will be back shortly.
Y ahorita va a venir la intérprete para que, por si alguien necesita la asistencia de ella.
Next is Christopher Van Beber. If you could unmute.
Is he in the band Fishbone?
It's a good court, by the way. Excuse me for just a moment.
Should be like a microphone.
Oh, we're already
icon
subscribed.
that
Okay,
you
good.
click on.
Good, 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 good.
Can you hear me now, Judge?
Yes, I can. Okay,
All right.
so Mr. Van Bever, it looks like you have been charged with resisting arrest. That was alleged to have occurred June 2nd of 2022 in the area of 832 South 76th Street. I'm not sure if maybe you were in custody at one point, but it looks like the public defender has already been appointed to your case. So we are going to continue this to a docket that they will physically be here on so that you can speak to them.
Alcatel Joy Tab 2 really flexing with the wall art situation
Sorry, it
there.
takes me a minute to look it up. October 20th.
She's a big
at
fan.
1 p.m. That will be an in-person hearing at City Hall at 1 p.m.
October 20th.
20th at 1 o'clock.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
All right. When you get here, you'll check in. The public defender will be here and we'll speak to you at that time. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
I saw.
All right. Next is Karen Ordonez Vieda.
She's blasting through these, though. I'll give her that.
Yeah, she's knocking them down.
Hi. Give me one moment to look that up. You need
Karen
to
just got her nails did.
Yeah. Okay. Ms. Valdivino, if you could
They
tell
look
us that we'll
great.
call on her as soon as the interpreter's back and then to mute herself.
Karen, en cuanto venga la intérprete, te asistiremos porque fue a otro cuarto. ¿Está bien?
Está bien.
Muchas gracias. Josh, I cannot find Beaver, Van Beaver.
Beaver?
Oh, it's VAN and then there's a hyphen.
Oh,
It's not on the docket because he was in jail and he got out today. He was sent
okay.
and stuff.
Yeah, it's
I like
VAN
the
hyphen.
background.
Yeah,
Got
if
it.
it's hyphenated. You can find it. Yeah.
Okay.
Next is Mariah Porter.
Hello.
Good
Hi.
afternoon.
Hello, yoo-hoo.
Give me one moment to figure out what's going on. Okay, it looks like you have been charged with no proof of insurance and not having a driver's license. Those were alleged to have occurred August 20th of 2020 in the area of 29th and Parallel Parkway. Then there is also a expired tag, no proof of insurance, speeding. Specifically, the allegation is 73 and a 55, failing to wear a seatbelt, not having a driver's license, and another adult seatbelt.
Damn.
Those were alleged to have occurred August 24th of 2020 in the area of 18th and Marion.
How do you not have a seatbelt?
Give me 1 second. I need to look at that older case.
Why?
So it looks like on the older case, it's not marked as an accident and the officer did not write down the reason for the stop. So I'm going to close that one. So
Uh-oh.
just 1 moment to get that done. So Ms. Valdivino, that's 019278.
That was so funny with Bill. Them trying to pin some big ass charges on him.
I
Poor
know,
guy.
theft and assault. I'm like, who did he assault?
Hey, Gary.
Gary.
Okay, so that only leaves you with the other citation from August 24th of 2020. Do you want to speak to a prosecutor, set up for trial, or request a continuance to hire an attorney?
No, I want to speak to the prosecutor.
Hold on.
Okay, just click join when the prompt comes up.
Fix
Okay?
yourself.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day. Next is Dorian Hooks.
Dorian.
The hook.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hooks. Give me 1 second to get that looked up.
Mr. Hooks just wake up, maybe?
It was a long night.
It looks like you have been charged with no proof of insurance and expired tag. Those were alleged to have occurred
What's up with his hair?
September 17th of
Yeah, is there
2024
hair that we're not seeing?
7th and County Line Road.
Is it
Do
green?
you want to
Very
speak to
weird.
a prosecutor, set up for trial, or request a continuance to hire an attorney?
Let's speak to a prosecutor.
Okay, just click join when the prompt comes up. Thank you.
Sin hook.
Next is Jamisha Douglas.
Who dis?
Yes.
Good afternoon, Miss Douglas. If you just
Good afternoon.
a moment to get that looked up.
Is she on the phone?
Who did? Oh, I should have done my full name. I didn't even think about the fact that.
They at work?
people
What's
may-
going on here?
Okay, here we go. It looks like
Boner.
you had been charged with no proof of insurance, driving while suspended, and an improper display of tags. Those were alleged to have occurred May 28th of 2022 in the area of I-635 and Parallel Parkway. Like
Case closed. Let's get
you
drunk.
have already spoken to Kansas Legal Services, and you were supposed to be here in person today.
Oh, because he told me when someone else joined the doc he gonna call me back. He never called me back. So I called down there 3 times and they didn't know what I was talking about with the diversion.
3 times. That's the rule.
I didn't know. So today I called and say, do I come in person or Zoom? They told me Zoom.
Okay.
So I know.
So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna continue this to October 18th at 2 p.m. That is an in-person hearing. Whether
Okay.
you hear from them or not, you need to appear in person. If you appear on Zoom
That
next
was nice
time,
of her.
that will be a bench warrant, okay?
I told you she's a sweetheart.
I got
Really
a
is.
lawyer that's coming too. Is that fine?
If you hire your own attorney, that's great. They just need to get their entry of appearance submitted prior to that next court date.
Uh-oh, bathroom. Going to the bathroom.
You to the person
He's going to the.
Yeah, he's got it whipped out.
He's
Legal
pissing.
Services that's on Zoom today. Just
This court's got it all, baby.
He's got his hands on the snake and he's
Does he
going
shake
to
it?
flow. Does he wash his hands? That's the question.
Ah, it's a great question. Let's
Is he
see. Grab-
one-handing it or two-handing it? I can't tell.
I'm not sure. What,
I
do you
like to
he's
think
just
two
holding
hands.
it like this. You think?
Yeah, like a massive pipe.
Nope. No washing. Nothing. Just grab the phone and go.
Wow, good for him. What confidence he has.
Sure does. We haven't seen somebody go pee in quite a while on we
Yeah.
got a case.
Okay.
The classics.
Is Amaya Barker.
Is the Mayan taking a dump, maybe?
Oh my
Good afternoon, Ms. Barker. It looks like you have been charged with criminal damage and domestic battery. Those were
Ooh.
alleged to have occurred November 20th of 2019 in the area of 1417 South 55th Street, Apartment 2. If you are convicted of the domestic battery, there is mandatory minimum jail time, fines, mandatory counseling, supervised probation, and it affects your right to own a weapon. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. Do you want to get a continuance to hire an attorney, or do you want to see if you qualify for the appointment of the public defender?
The public defender.
Good
Okay,
choice.
we're going to continue this to October 12th.
All right, let's watch one more and then we'll
Yeah,
jump
I'm
on
mad
in.
that we can't see them.
October
That's
12th
not
at 8
cool.
a.m. That would be an in-person hearing at City Hall for you to fill out the public defender paperwork.
Okay. You
All
said
right.
October 12th?
12
8
at 8
a.m.?
a.m.
Okay.
In person.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She spits in the face of people
All right,
for
and
not being
my
cool.
understanding we have the interpreter back.
Oh no.
So Ms. Ordonez, if you could unmute, please.
Karen?
Señora Ordóñez, por favor.
What?
Oh, she's wait, I'm sorry, I was sleeping.
Yes.
Okay, just give me one moment to bring your cases back up.
Who is that beside her?
Permítame un momento para buscar su caso.
It looks like you had been charged with a switched tag and not having a driver's license. Those were alleged to have occurred May 13th of 2022 in the 4100 block of Parallel Parkway.
En la Parallel Parkway, en mayo, usted tenía 2 cargos, uno por tener placas que no eran suyas y el otro por no tener licencia.
It looks like you previously spoke to the prosecutor. Are you wanting to speak to the prosecutor again?
No.
Parece que ya antes usted ya había hablado con la fiscal.
Well,
¿Quiere
she's
hablar con
sleepy,
ella
huh?
otra vez?
Así es.
Yes.
She's being
we're gonna
seductive
send
right now,
the
though.
Prosecutor, just click join when the prompt comes up and we'll send the interpreter in a little bit.
Ok, en unos momentos vamos a enviarle a la intérprete y ahorita vamos a ir con el fiscal.
I just want her to scratch my back for
Well,
like
I want to see
10
it.
minutes.
She's got some nails.
Does anyone else need the assistance of the Spanish language interpreter?
Did Moto G just go for round two? Just set the phone down and
Otherwise, if you could unmute and tell me.
¿Alguien más necesita la ayuda de la intérprete? Si es que la necesita, por favor, alce la mano o por favor diga que necesita una.
Okay, so it looks like we've got at least one. So when you come back. All right, thank you, Mr. Mejia.
Ahorita vamos a regresar, señor Mejía.
So when you
Come on, Origato, Mr. Medea.
that person.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Next is Kevin Ornelas.
that's what I was thinking.
Here, Kevin Ornelas.
Oh, another
Hi,
one on the
it
phone.
looks like you had been charged with
No more
Yeah,
phone.
We're done with this.
Yep, we're done.
We've did
What-
what we could with that.
What a day today has been. Pretty decent day. I must say.
Banner day over here. A real change up from Voyeur Voyage, where it was a solid single to left field to get thrown out at first. Well, this right here, triple play. We made it to third base at least.
At least.
Sports, everybody. If you haven't already liked this video, please do so, or Creed will come to your house and smoke on your porch. Ooh.
Yes, I will. Yes, yes. Don't forget 2 for Tuesday today, or Tuco Tuesday, some would say, on the show. It's a double shot of your favorite twofers today. That would be a whole rock block happening. Today at We Gotta Chase, 4:05 East, 105 Pacific time. We'll see you then. Dave, thank you. Thank you for all the donos, the likes, the comments.
Is Dave the only person that sent us money during this show? If so, this was sponsored and brought to you by Dave, single-handedly producing great content.
Thank you guys a lot. We'll see you at 4:05.
4 or 5.
This sound effect just reminded me the leaked GTA 6.
I heard that. I haven't looked at it, but I heard
Neither
that
have I.
it was leaked. Maybe we should look at it. Maybe.
We're waiting.
Sorry. Let me hit end.